Like it's just smaller goals that we build. We want bigger goals as a team and me individually, but I heard it really well that was 53. Coach said that I got poured with cold water all over me, so I heard it really well.
I guess, Keaton, what makes David able to be the first player in 53 years to do that?
David, he's a really great teammate. He plays super hard. Always goes hard in practice. Works out twice a day. He's one of the hardest workers on the team.
And the way that you guys had tonight and just kind of what we can see moving forward?
Every day in practice, we go hard. No bad days in practice, and I think that's really what got us going early. And, the Texas Tech game, that was a big one for us, and that kind of got us rolling. And we knew that this Colgate team was going to be solid, well coached, so we knew we had to come out here, take care of business, and get ready for the Alabama game.
Keaton, you're playing with a lot of confidence right now. Obviously, it's not something you don't always see from a freshman. Did you come in with that kind of edge, or is the court kind of building that confidence for you?
I think when I came in the summer, most people thought that I came here and I was either going to redshirt or barely play my first year, and I just came in with a chip on my shoulder, just knowing that I can play at this level and just trying to come in every day, work hard, do what it takes to, win and be able to get minutes on a Big Ten team like this that has a really good chance of going deep in the tournament. So I think my confidence has just gone up with me, in practices and then, working out and watching film with coaches.
Just along those lines, Keaton, what is this like for you to knowing that you came in kind of with a little minimal expectation from the outside and you're doing what you're doing? What's this like?
It's really awesome for me. And I'm just excited to keep this win streak that we have going right now to start the season. I'm ready to keep it going. Hopefully get a win against a big time team in Alabama and just coming in here every day, working hard and doing what it takes to win.
I got one for Keaton as well. Keaton, you've shown early on you're really adept at seeking contact, playing through contact. Pretty rare for a young guy. Is that something that you always have done in your career, or is that something that you kind of honed this summer?
I think like my senior year of high school, I really adopted that, trying to get to the free throw line because that's easy points. And, people don't look at me as like someone who's going to try to look for contact, but, I play strong. I look of the game. And
your impact on the team, what have you seen his impact be on this team?
Like since I came from the first day, like that's a thing I didn't expect, but Keith was like one of our best players, even like he's the one of the youngest one. So like he's really safe with the ball. He makes really great decisions all over the place, like whatever it be drives, whatever be passes, and he's a great teammate too. So that's it.
David, what's the key to getting 21 rebounds in a game? What skill do you have to have? How did you learn how to track rebounds like that?
Like listening to Brad talking about rebounds every day and all day, 24/7. Probably that. Yeah.
Yes, David, what was going right for you in this? You had 19 points in the second half. What changed for you in the second half, or would you kind of get more aggressive offensively there?
No, it was the same as first half. I just got lost in a game.
Me, especially early this season. I've been like over the summer and stuff, I was like running into screens, and he's really taught me how to use angles and use my length on defense, like you said. So I've really tried to implement that into my game because if you can't play defense at this level, you're not going to play. So defense has been a big thing that I've worked on over the summer and in early this season.
Keaton, it doesn't look like you ever really panicked or playing too fast out there. Like, why is that? How have you been able to manage those moments?
I just try to, play within myself, not try to go out there and do, anything extra, let the game come to myself. And just, offensively, make the right plays. And when I have the ball, just know that I have great teammates around me.
You maybe got a little sped up against Texas Tech?
Yeah, but I think that's true, and all of the coaches told me that, and like it's just I didn't expect that. Like I have never I don't want to say that I was nervous or I had pressure. Just it's a way different environment and all that, and I
Like, why do you think you've been able to do that? Why do you think you've been able to get to this level and succeed right away?
Yeah, I think it's just through the coaching staff and trusting them because, since I've got here, they've really worked with me and watched film, all the time with them.
Would you have believed it, or how did you get to this point?
I just stayed true to myself. I talk with my AAU coach all the time, and he's been telling me this since like my 16th year of AAU. Being on an independent circuit, as like true brand circuits and stuff like that. So, I probably would have been a little bit shocked that he said that, but with the work that I put in myself, I've always believed in myself and that I can play with anyone. So, yeah.
For both of you guys, just how has playing in this offense really amplified each of your strengths and allowed you to thrive so much early?
like I think it's both of y'all and a lot of players. It's perfectly built because like we have plays, but we have a lot of freedom to make decisions and then like really show our qualities, and that's just because of the stuff they made it like that, and they believe in our basketball skills, and like we produce.
Yeah, I think this offense is really great. It's super spread out and a bunch of ball screens. And personally, I love playing in ball screens. I think it's one of my best strengths, being able to, read ball screens and see over the defense and stuff like that. And it's all the spacing and driving to get open threes, and everyone on the court can shoot. So I think it's great for everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold that chair back so Coach doesn't sit in it.
So well coached. I told our team before the game, I said it's a it's a team built to win championships and to win. And there's some teams you play that they just lay down when things get harder. Their expectations not, maybe not to come in here and win. That one is. That team's wired to do that. And it was good. I mean, a good college basketball game. Good for us. Special night for Merck. Wow. It's amazing when you get lost in the game and you play to win. I think he would tell you that I've been on him pretty good for a couple of days about his performance rebounding. I think he had an 18% go rate in the Tech game. And that was not very good, awful. And especially for a guy that was coming off some pretty good rebounding games. I think he took that personal. He likes to win. He knows that's what you do. I thought it was just dominant. Other than a couple silly turnovers he had, I thought it was just a dominant performance. I thought Keaton was spectacular as well, especially early, kept us afloat. And, those two guys were, Z's been fighting a little knee swelling and we knew it was going to be hit or miss with him tonight. And then I thought Jake and Ben came in off the bench and made some nice hustle plays, did some things to get us going. But I told the team afterwards, winning books. And give them credit. But we did two things. Especially on that end, there were actually three. We rebounded, we got to the foul, and then we guarded without fouling and giving them easy ones. So we're growing, we're getting better, and it was a great win against a good basketball team, and especially coming off, the Tech win. There was a lot of emotion in that game.
Coach, those two freshmen, David and Keaton, are shown to be matchup problems. What attributes and skill sets can contribute to that?
Yeah, there's nothing they really can't do. Shoot it, dribble it, pass it. And it's where it all starts is there. And then, it's the essence of positional size. I thought David, first half, I thought passed up 3 or 4 opportunities to score the ball when he had one-on-one coverage. He wears us out in practice doing that. I thought he just trying to get guys going and be too unselfish. But I just thought they got lost in the game tonight, and then their skill set just took over. And it's not very rare you see 2 freshmen, maybe 1, but have 2 that just become that dominant, and they were that tonight.
David just did something even Kofi Coburn never did, 20 and 20, 21 rebounds like that. What's prepared him for this, bro? What is the way he's wired, or what is it?
Yeah, he's wired different now. And like I said, I challenged him pretty good this week in practice, and he's better than that, and he's a young man who strives for greatness. He doesn't settle, and he's maybe Io. Competitive, cheat you, fight you, do whatever to win. He's like that, and those are pretty good traits. And tonight it was just, okay, I'm going to listen to my coach, and he did.
Brad Keaton had 11 free throws tonight. He far and away leads the team in free throw attempts so far this year. Is that his ability to play through contact something you saw, or is he surprised by that?
No, it's something we knew he could do. He's crafty. He's got a great change of pace. He's got really good size. He's got the ability to get it up there with either hand. I actually sent some clips in from the Tech game on him because I thought there's one play he got tripped, another one he got his arm just knocked off on a 3-point shot. I thought there were 3 or 4 that he didn't get called. But when you stick your nose in there, a lot of good things.
Freshman. Why is that? What is it about him that doesn't allow him to do that?
If I figure that out, I'm going to write the book or the 2 pages or whatever it takes that defines that. It's a blessing. It's God-given. I think it's genetics. I think it's, an upbringing. I think it's really good coaching. But as a former player back in the day, I know it's uncomfortable sometimes when you see this, and he's becoming a target for people, and he just doesn't get sped up, and it's a real gift. Very rare. I mean, there's not many that do that and can do that. It usually takes a while, and he's learning a new system, a new team. He's, and he's just handling it with great poise.
Coach, they rolled out some zone defense. I know you expected that going into and I know you didn't have a great night shooting, but how do you think you handled that just from an execution standpoint?
Really good. We got every shot we probably wanted, and then most importantly, I thought we did what you had to do against any zone, and that's when you do miss it. But we had a couple possessions in the first half where we were slow recognizing it, so we played into a shorter clock and maybe didn't get great looks. But for the most part, our numbers last 2 years have been off the chart through zone, and I thought that we got pretty good shots tonight.
Coach, just one for me over here. Obviously, it's just finished up a really big week. You have Alabama at the United Center coming up in a couple of days. Just what challenges do they present overall, and what can you kind of preview about them briefly?
Well, I watched a little bit of their game last night, and it's always concerning when you see somebody make 16 of 18 threes, or I don't know. They took 44 of them. Purdue did a fantastic job of not letting them get them back. I think they got 17% of their misses back, which if you don't let them go chase their misses. But I know this. I haven't dove deep into them at all. I just watched the game. I know that backcourt is really, really good, and maybe one of the best in the country. And we'll have to be very dialed in. But we'll start working on that one later tonight.
Brad, I'm going to pepper you here for a second. Z, just how's he feeling, and what's kind of his status right now?
Yeah, I don't even know. He had a surgery back in, I don't know, when he was 16 or 17 years old, and every now and then it was a cartilage deal, and it just kind of got a little swollen yesterday and is really sore. So we were able to manage that anyway, and when it sets, it gets sore. So yeah.
Did you plan on playing Mahalo tonight, or was he available?
No, I need him to get through practice. Okay. I think it's just all the process of you got to see him do it. He's doing some really good things in practice that getting him a couple times. We're just suiting up and going through the pregame warm-up stuff is fine. And then it's the 5-on-5, that it gets aggravated. It's always the day after, or even if he's set a little bit, that it gets tight. So we're trying to watch that and be careful with it. I'm not going to try to rush him back. He was really good in practice yesterday when he was in. Brandon was the same way. Brandon's got a pretty good ankle. It's pretty black and blue still. He's very tough. He's gutting it up. And I just thought that, probably could have played him tonight, but, a few extra days sure won't hurt him either of rest and recovery, and try to get a little closer to 100%, with that. And then, Tommy's moving around now, so that's a good thing. I assume that's where you're going with all those.
Brad, you guys scored 84 and shot 37%. I mean, what does that tell you about what this offense can ultimately be?
Yeah, you can't worry about percentages all the time. I think that there's a lot of ways to score it, and free throw line, offensive rebounding, all those things allow you to go do that. We like I said, you've heard me say it a million times. That's what we're trying to prepare for here, is when it's not very pretty. And how do we still come out? I thought defensively we did some really good things tonight, made things a little difficult on some of their key guys, but takes on a lot of different. You wear a lot of different hats when you win, and I thought tonight was one that we hadn't worn yet, so it was nice to do it.
I mean, what was David's maybe reaction this week in practice to challenging him after Texas Tech? How did
he just gets angry at me and screams and cusses and Serbian, and I scream at him some more, and he just competitor. He's just a really good competitor, and it's all in a really good way. And he was very dialed in. He was very aggressive on the glass in practice, and he was it carried over. As coaches have the old cliche, you play how you practice, and he practiced that way. He had a great couple days of practice.
Brad, Andre started the game really strong. Seemed like he kind of ran out of gas later as the game progressed. Is that maybe a physical hangover from the extra minutes he got on Tuesday, or?
Absolutely. And it's I don't even know what minutes I played him, 28, 27 and a half. And that's a minute and a half more than I played him. But I tried to leave him in a longer stretch. And that was my plan going in, was to get him in a couple pretty good stretches. So it's an important few days for him as well, in terms of, you got to, he's coming off an injury, but more importantly, we got to keep conditioning and keep growing that. And so, yeah, it's a process.
Coach, we've asked you a lot about Keaton. Obviously, there's different ways he's impacted the game, but just want to get your thoughts defensively on just the strides you've seen him make since he's come to campus.
Well, if you would have seen him in the Florida scrimmage, he was a human pinball. All he did was run into screen, one right after the other, and you're trying to go through Condon and those guys, and you're not going to do that. He's gotten much better on the ball. He's very alert. He's got great length, so he's active. I think he's still got a long way to go off the ball in terms of just being in gaps and using that length to produce steals, get his hands on things, figuring out scouting reports. He's continuing to grow there, but the will to compete and really be a good defender, and at that size, he doesn't get beat very often. And again, he competes at a really, really high level. He doesn't want to take any possession off. He doesn't want to lose a sprint. He doesn't want to do any of that stuff in practice. So he's just that wired like that competitively.
How did you think Colgate's pressure on the perimeter defensively challenged some of your offense's abilities to just drive the basket and make plays within the paint?
Yeah, they were in the gaps. Once we started moving, I thought we just over dribbled. I thought once we got the ball moving, and the second half, we did a much better job getting the ball on the side and playing what we call a little side ball and creating some advantages. But we just stood and we didn't cut. We were really flat. Give them credit. But we went from a team who never rotated and you survived in isolations to a team now who's in the gaps and raking it at every possibility. And we didn't make those adjustments great.
Brad, you said this is kind of what you expected, both because the opponent and the emotion of Tuesday. So when you have this kind of, especially the veterans didn't perform at the highest level, how do you react to it? How do you move forward after a loss like that?
I think we understand that not every game's perfect, but I think that it's a challenge to learn from how much emotion plays in the game. I told them afterwards, you get 31 of these, you're guaranteed 31 or I guess 32 if everybody's in the conference tournament now, but not many times. And to come do it in front of a sellout crowd and it's a privilege to do that. And we want to make the most of that. And almost always it carries over from practice. And it's the way you practice, it's the mental focus you have, it's not reading all your guys' stuff and the fans and everything else that I call it drinking the poison, and you've got to stay what's vital and what's important, and that's winning and losing, and you have to learn from it. But the game's pretty mental, and it's very much based on emotion. And we knew we were going to get a team that's, they're good, and they were going to play very hard in front of a big crowd and try to show the world what they could do.
Brad, going back to Keaton real quick, early in the game, he had spins when they were attacking him when he turned his back. Didn't see that in the second half. Was that you guys, or is that just him making adjustments?
That's him. That's not us. I'm a big fan of it because he usually draws a lot of fouls when he does it. But other than the one he got tripped in the Texas Tech game and they didn't call the foul, but he's just got a really creative mind in there. And that's just slow. He knows when to do it. He knows when not to. Not much I can take credit for with him, to be very honest. He just does it. He's just a very instinctive player that makes a lot of the right decisions. He made one really bad one on the baseline, which was a freshman mistake.
Coach, offensively, how much have you and Tyler had to adjust a little bit to the skill sets that you have on this club? And are we seeing a return of booty ball to bring back a kind of a blast from the past a little bit?
I sure hope so. That was really good for us. We led the country most of the year that year till Donovan Klingon got a hold of us. But it was I think this team has a lot of skill set. I think we do some things in isolations much better than any team we've ever had. I think we proved that against Tech when you see a lot of switching. I think we can be really downhill. I think that we've got multiple guys that can really post it. So at different positions. So yeah, we're always tinkering, and we'll have to keep working at that. And like I said, you don't Merck, and we haven't had Tommy yet, and that combination together, what that looks like. So it's just a still an experiment.
This will be our last one. With David now kind of just seeing what he can do when he, really, really applies himself on the boards, do you see him continuing to almost push himself ahead of the Alabama game, knowing it's a different stage, or do you think you're going to keep having to hammer him in practice a little bit more?
Well, he's got no choice in that. I'm going to keep hammering him. That's, we've got to get Andre rebounding more. I thought that he's got to have some help. Everybody's going to try to hit him and block him out and put up those kind of numbers. He'll draw some attention. So it should open things up for others. And, that's our deal, man. We got to rebound the ball. Got to rebound it.
Thank you.
Good luck to the football team tomorrow. See you there.